The Logan Downtown Alliance, the LDA, bylaws state that the president is over the activities of the director of operations. Yet in 2021, when Mark was asked to be president of the LDA, both Gary, the director of operations, and past president Eric Jensen told Mark all he had to do was attend a few meetings and occasionally sign something. This led to Gary not having a boss for a year, in which he was paid $72,800. During this time, the LDA accepted $75,340 in taxpayer funds and member donations. The following recordings are excerpts from conversations and meetings which highlight the issues and problems discovered inside the Logan Downtown Alliance.
But he lied to me about that, right? For an entire year, he didn't have a boss.
Yeah, correct.
If only you would have told me that the role of the president, what it really was, I never would have taken it, Gary. You only have yourself to blame for lying to me about it.
And I'm sorry that you accepted. I am so sorry.
If you would have been honest with me,
6 months because of you.
if you would have been because of me, or you could have just done the few basic one-on-one things I asked to get done, and then I would have just moved on with my life.
Gary continued to refuse to do what was asked of him by his boss, Mark, the LDA president, and would not turn over any of the LDA records.
To do something as simple as getting a backup copy of records. I'm so many hours in. If I asked Steve from the Island Market for that, it would take one email.
That's fine.
It took a year and I still don't
I
have
would never
it.
give you anything.
Gary's willingness to actually fall through and do what the board, in this case the president, is asking at basic. I can't remember some of the terms you used, but you're definitely using the right terms to say, hey, this expectation should be met. This is not a hard thing to ask.
Instead of the past presidents helping Mark get a copy of the LDA records from Gary, they started scapegoating him as the problem.
So that's where the rub comes. I think it's not what you're doing, it's how you're doing it.
I don't know of other situations where employees get to say to their boss, I can't communicate with you, so I won't. And technically the president of the board is the boss. And working with the executive committee, which we now have.
This is the fact, Mark.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to do anything for you.
Is everybody okay if I send an email formally asking Gary for the last signed contract?
For years, the LDA board had allowed Gary to write his own employment contract.
Nobody as president wanted to take the 5 hours to write a contract, so he wrote it himself.
So then I asked for a copy of all of the records. You finally brought a flash drive to a meeting. It didn't have the 2022 contract. It had the 2020 contract. So this is in the fall. That I don't even have the 2022 contract that you've been operating on for 10 months.
We're so far beyond contracts. We are so far beyond
10 months into your contract, I haven't even seen a copy of it.
I have a copy of the 2020 one that you gave me. Did I sign that?
I don't know. I give one to, when we talk, I just give you a copy. I gave you a copy, I gave Mark Felstead a copy.
So I have an unsigned copy of the one that...
The current unwritten or unsigned agreement.
Changed it. None of us wrote on it.
None of us ever...
Right? We didn't change it.
Guess what? The board has always allowed Gary to write his own contract.
Both vacation and severance are just way out of whack, as you know. Let's go back to 4 weeks vacation. Something a little tighter, not this what he's got. It's more like 7 weeks.
I think the severance package is like
Crazy.
financially ruinous to the organization. It's like...
It's unheard of, really.
The organization committee is supposed to oversee Gary's annual work plan. The past presidents, who are close friends with Gary, suspended this committee for several years. This greatly diminished the board's ability to hold Gary accountable and set the priorities for the LDA.
If you didn't lie to me about the responsibilities for the president and tell me it was just going to the meetings and signing a proclamation, none of this would have happened. But instead, I get involved and it's like an onion. Oh, there's an organization committee we're supposed to do.
We weren't having organization committee meetings for several years, actually. It was a long period of time.
I wouldn't do it.
My schedule that says these are how my hours are spent.
Our board does not know what they're doing. They've not been trained. They really don't know what their responsibilities are. And we really need to educate our board of what their responsibilities are.
Logan City and other stakeholders started discussing leaving the LDA due to how hard Gary can be to work with. In response, Gary and Jean started threatening litigation if the board didn't vote to keep Gary. This was flagrant bullying to intimidate board members during an election.
He says Kirk and the mayor, he says you, and obviously the very meetings that he's in and the execution of any change, you just know that, okay, Gary is, you know, he's ready to go. And he did tell us months ago at the time, he said, I'm prepared to file a lawsuit. And I don't know that you share the same opinion as some others, but as an alliance, we are concerned about litigation with Gary.
Right.
If we cut him out, if we literally put him out, now what's going to happen?
Recording. So is Kirk Jensen.
Is on recording?
Yeah, I've got him recorded.
I assume you've recorded everything. I bet you've been talking with an attorney, and I bet that, in fact, I would be...
cover my bases.
Gary does, in fact, have a lawyer.
Great, we should too.
I think he's confident. He thinks he's got the backing of many friends.
Mark Anderson spoke with several consultants to see if they could help the LDA. Several of them had concerns with the LDA due to Gary's poor relationship with key stakeholders.
The second thing is, every single one of them said, why the hell is Gary still working for you? All right, and that has nothing to do with the conflict between Mark and Gary. It has everything to do with his relationship with Logan City, with the Chamber of Commerce, and with the Tourism Board. If he cannot work with those three groups, there is absolutely no reason why he should be working for us. None. They had no sympathy, they didn't hold back. They let me have it right off the bat. They said, why is he still working for you? There's no way you should tolerate that kind of relationship. If the Alliance is not working with Logan City hand in hand, the Chamber hand in hand, and the Tourism Board, we are ineffective.
The women thing was, I think, the sensitive point for him was, hey, now you're accusing me of not being able to talk to women.
Well, he and I are laughing because we're like, really? It's true.
He doesn't talk.
Ask the mayor, ask Deb Harvey, ask Jamie, ask me.
All the women on this board.
I mean, it's concerning.
We're not part of the past presidents, and we've tried to give input. And
as we all know, the question is Gary that important that we would want to divide from the city?
Gary's friends on the LDA board voted to keep him as an employee despite all of these issues and concerns. As a result, the Logan City Chamber of Commerce, the Tourism Board, and other key stakeholders have left the LDA and formed their own downtown group.